Hello, nice to have you join us on the news at 5, live on Channels Television. I'm Dominic Iwiwu, and these are the stories and reports we're tracking at the moment. The Supreme Court of Nigeria has struck out a suit filed by the Attorney General of Osun State against the Attorney General of the Federation in relation to the dispute over the withheld allocations due to local governments in the state. In a split decision of 6 justices to 1, the Apex Court held that the Osun State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice has no legal right to have instituted the case on behalf of the 30 local governments in the state. The court held that those who won the local government election and were inaugurated are the right persons that can sue and be sued directly. Justice Mohammed Idris, who read the lead judgment, held that the federal government was wrong in withholding the local government fund, adding that the action was in breach of the 1999 Constitution. The Apex Court then said handed over the federal government was soiled in its decision to unjustly seize the funds and admonished it to strictly ensure that the funds are directly channeled to local accounts. The court dismissed the Attorney General of the Federation's contempt allegations against Osun, adding that he was in more contempt than the Osun State by not paying the fund as required by law. Justice Idris, however, said that since there was no evidence that Osun State's Attorney General was briefed by the local governments, he ought not to have filed the case on their behalf. In a minority judgment, Justice Emmanuel Ejim disagreed with the 6 other justices, holding that Osun Attorney General has the right to institute the case. Justice Ajim said that the action of the federal government in withholding the local government funds was in bad taste because it was capable of crippling the activities of the councils. Now, in a major political shake-up, 17 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly have announced their defection from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. This was made known during plenary today as the Speaker, Martin Amewele, informed the House that in addition to himself, 16 other members informed him of their intention to cross over to the APC from the PDP.
I'd like to inform the House that I have been informed by 16 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly of their decision to leave the People's Democratic Party and move to the All Progressive Congress. All 16 members, including the Speaker, have so decided to leave the People's Democratic Party for the All Progressive Congress. Distinguished colleagues, it's important I also allow all the members who have so communicated to me to also reaffirm by addressing the House on this particular item. But before I give them the opportunity to speak, distinguished colleagues, let me say that the reason for leaving the People's Democratic Party is because of the clear division in the People's Democratic Party today.
We head over to Imo State, where the Economic Summit has entered its final day in Owerri, the state's capital. Discussions were focused on digital innovation as a catalyst for sustainable wealth creation. Key stakeholders and drivers of the summit highlight the anticipated positive outcomes, emphasizing how the deliberations and strategic initiatives unveiled at the event are expected to significantly influence and accelerate economic growth across Imo State.
Are focusing on the digital economy and how it could help transform the economy of Imo State into a $1 trillion economy. And from the sessions today, we'll be looking at the opportunities that lies within the Imo digital economy, from digital industrialization, because we are driving investors towards digital industrialization. We want to see great companies that would assemble smartphones, build other devices that will help support the growth of that subsector of the digital economy in Imo State.
Everybody that have come on stage has said industrialization, industrialization, employment, advancement, and growing the economy of Imo State. And that's exactly what Arashi represents. We as Arashi have put in place an opportunity to create an industrial platform that welcomes investors both locally and globally. These investors will be welcomed into an environment where they can have their businesses thrive, where they can have their businesses prosper. So in Arashi, we are situated in 4 local governments of the state. So indeed, the opportunities are huge. You have opportunity to be in the oil and gas rich basin of the state where the free trade zone is.
It's been a very successful event. The turnout has been extremely impressive, from the political class to heads of industries, to captains of industries, to corporates. What are we trying to achieve with the summit? His Excellency has established a bold vision of a $1 trillion economy, and part of the key takeaways of this summit is that we've identified and drilled down on the industries that will drive this, and this cuts across the economy, cuts across agriculture, hydrocarbons, and a big output of that is the Orash Special Energy Free Zone project, which His Excellency in his wisdom has created to change the narrative and industrialize the state.
Now, to properly harness the benefits of the blue economy, there is the need to carry along coastal communities through a multi-stakeholders approach. This is part of the lecture delivered by the Director General of the NIIA, Professor Eghosa Osage, at the International Maritime Institute of Nigeria course on Advanced Sustainability for the Blue Economy. Meanwhile, the Director General of the International Maritime Institute of Nigeria, Rear Admiral Thaddeus Udofia, says participants will have the privilege of gaining insight for informed decision-making, robust collaboration towards the sustenance of the country's blue economy.
The oceans and related water bodies constitute an essential pillar of national and global prosperity. They support critical sectors ranging from transportation and fisheries to energy production, coastal tourism, and environmental regulation. Yet, these same systems face increasing pressures resulting from climate change, environmental degradation, unsustainable practices, and evolving security dynamics. Addressing these challenges requires not only policies and infrastructure, but a well-informed, forward-thinking cadre of professionals equipped with the requisite knowledge and technical expertise.
You can encourage communities to come together and have fishers clubs that would be resourced by agencies like IMION and so on. It's collaborative, but you support them. I know that you do a great deal in the area of healthcare, which is good, so our doctors can go to those places. You do a great deal in the area of humanitarian intervention, that is also very good. But you can be even more proactive by encouraging communities to set up very productive centers that will help all members of the community. So I think that the time has come for us to think about these things and have a multi-stakeholder approach to dealing with communities and ensuring that we bring them fully back into that whole thing.
Now, the Nasarawa State's Governor Abdullahi Sule, has pledged to revitalize the basic education sector. He made the pledge during the state's first Universal Basic Education Summit held in Lafia, the state's capital. Organized by the State Universal Basic Education Board, the aim is to adopt a model that will ensure every child goes to school. Our correspondent Halima Gayam has this report.
Bringing the total to 30,000 tables.
The Nasarawa state government is hosting education stakeholders and students from the state and beyond for its first ever Universal Basic Education Summit to adopt ways to revitalize basic education. Speaking on the topic, basic education in Nasarawa State, yesterday, today and tomorrow, the guest speaker, Professor Tony Iradia, highlights the gaps and areas the government must improve upon to achieve success.
When we say adult learning, we are talking about adults who missed education when they were young. It is still basic education for them. And then we're also talking about nomadic education. All these forms of education are basic. And except you understand at this level of basic education, you cannot build on it. You have to have basic education as the provider and starting point of education.
The chairman of the State Universal Basic Education Board notes a number of challenges in the sector, which has prompted the need to organize the summit, and enumerates efforts to bolster the sector as the state works towards ensuring that every child goes to school.
We discover about 3,000 professional and trained teachers who work their posting illegally to local government education offices across the state. Your Excellency, we have redeployed 1,900 back to the classroom and are working to redeploy 1,000 more.
Governor Abdullahi Sule pledges his support towards achieving the set revitalization.
Have we achieved all the results? Definitely not. Are we going to be achieve 100% of the results by the time some of us leave? Most likely not. But are we going to put a lot of efforts in order to ensure that we make significant progress? Yes. And that's exactly what we are doing. And so whatever amount of time we can give to education is worth it.
The shortage of qualified teachers, overstaffing in local government education offices, and vandalism of school furniture, among other issues, have been identified as some of the challenges in the sector. So the governor has approved the recruitment of 1,000 teachers and promised more investment in education. Halima Agayam, Channels Television News.
The Abia State's Governor, Dr. Alex Oti, has performed the groundbreaking ceremony for a 15 MVA injection substation in Umuahia, aimed at improving electricity supply to the state's capital and surrounding communities, saying stable power remains central to industrial and commercial growth. Performing the groundbreaking in Umuahia, Governor Alex Oti said his administration is committed to addressing Abia's energy challenges through multiple interventions, noting that the project aligns with the state government's long-term power infrastructure plan.
In a bid to continuously improve power distribution in Abia State, Governor Alex Oti has flagged off the construction of a 15 MVA injection substation in Umuahia, the state capital.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
The facility, which is part of the state government's long-term plan to strengthen electricity infrastructure, is expected to expand electricity access and support the state's industrial and commercial growth.
Electricity, as we have pointed out, is the wheel that drives industrial and commercial activity. Intensive research efforts have established that regular electricity supply and consumption are positively correlated to most critical development indicators like GDP growth, industrial productivity, trade, and investment inflows. For us, electricity is the foundation of development, the enabler of growth, and the most enduring pathway to social prosperity. Our commitment to expanding access to electricity is firmed on the understanding that without it, every development aspiration is entirely an exercise in self-deceit. As a government, we have taken bold and pragmatic steps to fix the electricity conundrum in our state through informed legislation, policy initiatives, recruitment, investment, and partnership. We have prioritized the optimization of energy supply and consumption for the simple reason that our broad development outline will fall apart if we cannot generate and push enough power to the front lines of economic activities around the state.
The project combines two 7.5 MVA substations, one from the Niger Delta Power Holding Company under the NIPP initiative and another funded by the state government. A representative of the NDPHC managing director describes the ceremony as a significant milestone in Nigeria's ongoing drive to reinforce its power grid.
We are here for the groundbreaking ceremony of 1 by 7.5 injection substation. And distribution substations with transmission line, with distribution lines, 33 kV lines, 11 kV lines, and even low tension lines with 300 kV distribution substation. This is part of our mandate, and it has been the mandate of Mr. President, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, under the leadership of our chairman, who is the Vice President, Senator Kashi Shettima. He has been very passionate in making sure that the footprint of NDPAC is represented across all the nook and crannies of this country. So this is one of our projects.
The power project is expected to ease pressure on the overloaded feed that supplies the Umuahia and its environs, with a promise that the state's part of project will be completed between January and March. Governor Oti appeals to the NDPHC contractor to shorten the delivery time to 6 months so both projects can be commissioned by June 2026.
Professor Chukwuma Soludo, the governor of Anambra State, has led an inspection team to some critical infrastructural projects in Awka and Oga, starting with the Awka shopping mall, which will feature a massive market square outlet. The governor meets the consultants and the contractor to ascertain the progress and the timeline of completion of the public-private partnership project that will not only create jobs, stimulate economic growth in the state, but will be a huge commercial hub in the state. From there, he stops over at the Awka City Stadium, where reconstruction and landscaping activities are ongoing. And finally, he visits the Oga Boys Secondary School, where work is at an advanced stage. The Oga Boys Secondary School is one of the 22 schools being upgraded into model smart schools by the Soludo administration, with a target completion date of December 2025.
Quite significant progress has been made, but my mindset is that everybody knows that I only see what has not been done rather than what's been done. So everybody is saying, wow, wow, wow. But for me, no. I'm seeing what's yet to be done, because every assignment I wanted completed like yesterday. So I've been assured that by mid next month, 14th, I'll be back here again next month to see the road network being. They said they were waiting for the rains to give way so they can begin the interlocking of the walkways and so on. We've seen some others, they're all roofed, plastered, but I like to see them painted, all the renderings and ceilings and so on, so the furnishing can begin. I want to come back here in 2 weeks' time and to see a massive difference, as it were. That's the only way this thing can happen. An assignment not supervised is an assignment not given. So we're here. My technical crew, supervisory team have been around. They've been giving me daily reports, but I wanted to come and see by myself.
In the world of business, delegates at the Algeria Investment Summit are on the way in Johannesburg say Africa stands on the brink of a major economic breakthrough. They believe that if governments deliver on AFTA implementation, improve infrastructure, and unlock trade finance, the continent could generate hundreds of billions in new income, expand intra-African trade, create millions of jobs, and lift countless people out of poverty. Our South African correspondent, Innocent Samosa, attended the summit and filed this report.
Algeria's ambassador to South Africa, His Excellency Ali Ashwil, says his country is unlocking key investment opportunities with a strong focus on infrastructure development, mining and energy across the African continent.
Mining sector is one of the important sector which South Africa have a very good experience, and now in Algeria we are trying to improve this sector of mining. They have many opportunities. I want to invite all our South African friends to come to Algeria and to see the opportunities of investing or to partner.
Imani Taumi, Assistant Manager of the Director General Algerian Investment Promotion Agency, says introducing a direct one-way flight from Algeria to South Africa in January next year will significantly strengthen trade relations between the two countries.
That flight will facilitate things further because instead of making connections and stops on other continents, not only other countries, we are making stops on other continents, there will be a flight right forward from Algeria to Johannesburg that will facilitate trade.
Delegates underscored the importance of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement in creating millions of jobs, including better paid and higher quality jobs.
I think it will be great. From where we are, we don't think that there's a family that will go to bed with hunger. Everyone will be able to have the share of the economy. I think if you look in terms of the challenges in relation to the youth unemployment, that is going to be one of the contributing factors in making sure that we are able to make a serious stand in relation to that. But I think that the other area that we think that we can also be able to explore is in relation to the youth exchange programs.
So it's an interesting question that you ask if we get it right. And we don't actually have a choice. We have to get it right. And when we get it right, we open up the whole continent to do business with each other at fair prices. Now, it's quite interesting that if you look at countries inside Africa, they normally have tax breaks between countries outside of Africa. So it's more beneficial to do business outside of Africa than internally.
As discussions draw to a close, delegates say the real work begins now, turning today's commitments into meaningful action for communities on the ground. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Innocent Samosa, Channels Television News.
Outside our shores, India's central bank has cut its monetary policy rate by 25 basis points to 5.25%, matching economists' forecasts. The governor of India's Reserve Bank, Sanjay Malhotra, who made the announcement, says the Monetary Policy Committee delivered a unanimous reduction, citing weakness in some key economic indicators. He explained that the RBI's decision comes after the country's headline inflation eased significantly and is expected to be revised lower in the first quarter of 2026. India's economy expanded 8.2% from July to September this year, outpacing expectations while inflation remains subdued. And still with India, the country is facing one of its worst air travel chaos after its largest airline, Indigo, cancelled hundreds of scheduled flights today. Following 3 days of widespread disruption across its network, thousands of passengers are currently stranded across the country due to the busy travel season amidst the flight's cancellation in the capital, Delhi. Meanwhile, Indigo says operations will return to full normalcy only by 10th of February and plans to reduce its flight operations to minimize disruptions from December the 8th. Indigo, which has a 60% market share in India and flies more than 2,000 flights a day, has been facing pilot shortages after it failed to adapt to new crew rostering rules. And that's it on Business News and the News at 5. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. Up next is The World Today.